Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Rex. This is.
We have to drink Crown Royal Day.
No, we look. Hold on. As always, I reserve the judgments.
Yes, that's true.
We'll see. Johnny Walker, Crown Royal Black. Never had Crown Royal.
Eric
Black.
Evanson, the magnificent.
Eric Evanson, you magnificent bastard. Okay, so you are concerned about Crown Royal.
Well,
I'm saying never had Crown Royal Black, and already the difference I'm seeing, is it just me or is this color darker?
well, here's what happened.
Yeah.
So, there's two things behind this. One is this is their attempt. This is slightly one level up the ladder, or up the rung from the base level Crown Royal.
Okay.
So this is their attempt to go. This one's a little bit more rich, a little bit nicer.
Sure.
It's a little higher proof. It's 45 instead of 40.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Okay.
you
These are things that I'm all.
I want to tell you these things because I want you to think about them before you smell it.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the traditional styles in Canada of making whiskey is to distill the blending components separately and sometimes even age them separately.
Right.
So you distill your essentially vodka style.
Sure.
And then you put it in barrels.
Yes.
And then you distill your flavoring whiskey. That's called the base whiskey. You distill your flavoring whiskey in pot stills.
Yeah.
And age that separately. And then you blend them. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So typically there's a higher ratio of base grain, which is why it's shiny and caramely and everything.
Right.
And a lower level of flavoring.
Right.
Which is why it's lighter.
Sure.
This, they upped the percentage of the pot still flavoring whiskey.
And yeah.
And upped the percentage of the new oak.
Yeah.
Which ups the percentage of oak impact.
Okay. And what we know about what pot still whiskeys are generally going to give you in a whiskey is just some more richness and complexity. The Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, it's short.
If you want to see the long version, we did an episode on our other channel, Whiskey Tribe channel, pot still versus column still. What's the difference? That Chad's going to link right up here. But a simple way of describing it is if you're going to have a piece of steak, a column still is going to give you a lean piece of meat, and a pot still is going to give you a very well marbled piece of meat. In general, rule of thumb, simplistic description. But here we go. I'm actually excited based on that description.
So I'm also pouring the original Crown Royal so you can see, even from the nose, the difference between higher base grain and...
Just quickly, a moment on the color difference there. That is meaningful, right?
Yep.
That is...
And already it's a darker nose.
Now, is Canada allowed to use caramel coloring?
Yes.
Oh, so do we...
So it may have caramel coloring. We don't actually know.
We don't know.
They may have colored it darker to fit the name black.
Wow, you know what? This smells almost it's leaning, it's a little head fake there in the direction of a bourbon on the nose.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the nose. I'm telling you. I like the nose.
Oh.
I get the...
It's more enjoyable.
molasses and brown sugar on this nose.
And on the palate, there's a little more of the spice note 3/4 of the way through. It's still soft and round, but it's not overly sugared. It's still sweet. It's still very sweet.
It is sweet.
But there's a little bit of a spicy zing.
Well, yes. I'm gonna start with the end. The finish is a sugary ramp up.
Yeah.
It just gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, and then you're left with almost a candy aftertaste there. But the actual first sip and the mid palate, I'm actually impressed that I'm sipping a Crown Royal and getting this kind of palate and richness, and I'm judging it on the curve of Crown Royal expectations.
There's just the only difference. I'm going to try this one. The only difference is the sugar is a darker sugar instead of a shiny sugar.
Yeah.
And there's a little hint of a barrel spice.
Yeah,
partway
there's
in there.
a little caramelization, a little bit of an oakiness, and some brown sugar in there.
Yeah, try the original and you'll see it is different. It's not massively different. It's maybe 10 to 20% different.
I would say 25 to 30. Say 25 to 30. It's just basically...
No, my made-up number is
spicier-
far more scientifically accurate.
The very subjective made-up numbers. But here's the difference in the flavor, I think, is accurately represented by the color.
Yeah.
That much heft and that much character.
That's the direction it takes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Pleasantly surprised. If you would have poured me that blind, I don't know if I would have picked it out as a Canadian.
No, I might have picked it as like a really budget bourbon.
Budget bourbon.
And proofed down.
And again, if you like the really not sharp, bitey, spicy, pokey hotness, this is the word that people are going to use to describe it. It's smooth. Still smooth.
Yeah.
So you still get some more richness and character to the flavors, but they maintain the smoothness, which I'm sure was, priority number one.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah, well, that's the Crown Royal. That's what it's for.
Yeah. Okay, Benjamin Eves, Canadian? Really? Man, I miss the old days when y'all just reviewed the whiskey.
That was my favorite ball-busting comment about. There's always people talking about Canadian,
right?
But his was the best ball-busting one.
Right.
Like I miss the good old days when you guys actually reviewed whiskey.
Yeah, it's funny. Snark is
Snark.
All right. I'm currently. Oh, this is Curtis Hoffman. The printer sucks, dude.
Well, after this, I replaced all the ink cartridges.
Okay, all right. Curtis Hoffman. I'm currently planning on flying into Austin sometime in May, and I'm hoping to have 1 or 2 days free. But I'll be staying at a hotel near downtown. I won't have a rental car. Mm-hmm. Are there any alternative ways to getting out to the Crowded Barrel while I'm there?
Uber will get you out here. It'll be about $30 to $40.
That's how much an Uber is?
Yeah, from Austin.
Oh, yeah. I've taken two because I rarely am in an Uber. When I am, I think the last 2 times I was in an Uber was with you.
Yeah,
and
I so badly want to tell that story, but there's no way.
We ask the drivers. You a little chit chat and you get comfortable, and halfway through the drive, you kind of lean in and say, "Hey, what's the weirdest ride you've ever given?"
Yeah,
and every Uber driver has a weird ride story.
And they have an immediate answer. Like, they don't even have to think about it.
It's
like, oh no.
It's immediately.
This one time, and then bam, they're off and running.
This is what, ask me what was the weirdest ride.
So, what was the weirdest ride you ever gave?
All right. This one time.
Yeah. That's the response every time.
Yeah.
They know exactly which one they're going to as their default story.
I would be tempted, if we didn't have so many. There's like 10 series I would really like to do across our channels if we had the bandwidth and the time and the budget.
It would be a weird version of comedians in cars getting coffee.
Well, but it's weird stories from Uber drivers.
Yeah.
Because and this is the justification to have on a whiskey channel. If you're really into whiskey, you may have to use an Uber from time to time.
Instead of driving.
Right? Instead of driving. It's the safe, responsible thing to do. Grab yourself an Uber. Weird Uber stories. That would be a really fun series. I would love to do that.
Well, because here's why you get weird Uber stories.
Right.
And when you get in an Uber and you're super just want to be left alone, you kind of want to get in an Uber and not talk to anybody. But that's considered rude by most humans.
Right.
And so the easiest way to keep this ride from being awkward is to direct the conversation
to something entertaining for you.
Something entertaining where you don't have to talk.
And they don't have to think about it. Because they got it locked and loaded. You're getting entertained. They get to share something that was fun.
You don't have to respond or interact.
And it's not something that they can bring up on their own.
Right.
You're like, hey, thanks for choosing me for Uber. Let me tell you about this weird story.
Yeah, and then
that'll never happen.
No, but if you unleash them, then you get great stories. And then the next thing you know, it's like, oh, okay, I'm here. Thanks. A great story, man.
All right. 1, I want to know if somebody's already done this idea of weird Uber stories. 2, if they haven't, dibs. And 3, if somebody steals the idea, then you'll give them shit for saying they took it from me.
Yeah. Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
You fight me, you fight for a friend.
If you steal me, and steal lover's heart.
And if you drink, the first time you ever screwed it up. The first time I ever screwed it up. And if you drink, may you drink with us. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, and drop a question or comment down below.